Okay, so welcome to the pre-recorded class discussion for the second part of chapter 4, which is on the types of chemical reactions, no? So, yan. So, 'di ba last time we are able to cover the combustion reaction wherein your substances, especially the organic substances, they combust in air to produce carbon dioxide and water. Whenever carbon dioxide and water are produced, that means you have a complete combustion. So, paano kapag incomplete yung combustion? So, ano ba nangyayari when we have an incomplete combustion? What happens is that the oxygen is minimized, no? So, onti lang yung oxygen sa chemical reaction. Hence, there is an incomplete combustion of the substance, no? So, when we have an incomplete combustion of the substance, we can either form soot, no? Yung carbon, yun yung kulay itim sa mga kawali, no? Or carbon monoxide, no? So, dalawa yung options, no? Pwedeng sabay, pwedeng lahat, maging pwedeng lahat mag-exist, no? Pwedeng may carbon dioxide siya, pwedeng may soot, pwedeng may carbon monoxide, no? So, variety, no? Pero yun yung idea, no? For complete combustions, that means carbon dioxide yung mapoproduce lang, no? So, clean yung flame natin. Wala tayong makikitang may ngitim-ngitim sa kawali, no? For example. However, if our combustion is incomplete, yun, may side products siya, no? May mga soot, may mga carbon monoxide, and so on and so forth, no? Okay? Then the next type of reaction, we focus on the reactions in aqueous solution. So what happens here is that if your substance, especially ionic substances, pag nilagay mo sila sa water, they form an aqueous solution. So again, when we say aqueous solution, that is a solution wherein your ions are dissolved in water. No? So nasa tubig yung ions nyo. So what happens here is that yung ionic compounds nyo, yung cation and anion, they separate out. No? They become ions na free. No? So depending on the type of ions you can have three types of reactions in aqueous solution. So pwedeng yung ions nyo, they can form insoluble products. We call that the precipitation reaction. Pwede naman mag-neutralize sila, especially if we have hydronium ion and hydroxide ion. So acid-base reaction yan. And yung last na iniwan natin no, is the oxidation-reduction reaction or the redox reaction. So let's proceed to the oxidation-reduction reaction. No? So from the word itself, dalawang words yan. May oxidation ka and may reduction reactions ka. No? So dalawa yung reactions that happen here. The abbreviation for this one is redox. No? Red meaning non-reduction, ox meaning non-oxidation. Or oxred. No? So yan. So kay bahala. Pero the convention is redox. Okay, so what are the reactions that happen? No? So una, we have the oxidation reaction. What happens here is that your substance will lose electron. And what do we know about substances losing electron? They become more positive, no? Okay, so kunwari negative yan, negative yung kanyang charge. So as it lose electron, magiging zero yan, then eventually positive in charge, no? So ganun yung nangyayari sa oxidation reaction. However, for redox reaction, what happens here is that your substance will gain electrons instead. No? So yung electrons that are lost from the oxidation reaction, yung mga nilalabas nitong electron, they are transferred to the next reaction, the redox reaction, and the reduction reaction. Okay? Yung nilalabas na electrons ng oxidation na pupunta sa reduction reaction. Wherein your substance will gain that electron. Kukunin niya yung mga electron na pinapamigay ng isang substance. No? Okay? So, yun lang. So, as it gains electrons, what do we know about the charge? So, electron is negatively charged, di ba? So, as long as it gains electrons, no, its charge will become less and less, no, going to negative side, no. So, yun. So, ganun lang nangyayari, no? So, in the oxidation, substance is losing electron. Reduction, your substance is gaining electron. So for you not to be confused, there are some mnemonic devices here that we will encounter. One of them is the oil rig, no? So when you say oil rig, O stands for the oxidation, IL meaning non-I is losing, no? So it is losing electrons, no? So electron yung nawawala sa kanya, no? For reduction, RIG, the rig, no? R reduction, IG is gaining, no? So tumatanggap siya ng electron. Okay, so that's one way for you to memorize is oil rig lang, no? Oxidation is losing electron, reduction is gaining electron. Okay? Okay, so ito, ano uling consequence, no? When your substance is being oxidized, meaning it loses electron, or being reduced, meaning it gains electrons, no? So if your element is oxidized, its oxidation number, yung oxidation number that is just a fancy term for charge, no? So dumadami yung terms natin sa chemistry. Okay? So the oxidation number will increase, no? So tataas yung kanyang oxidation number. Kunwari, it starts from -1. Then as soon as it loses electrons, pwede siya maging 0, +1, +2, so on and so forth. Okay? So if your substance naman or your element is reduced, what happens here is that its oxidation number will decrease or the charge will decrease. Why? Because if you accept electron, that makes your charge less and less going to the negative side. No? Kunwari, you start with +3. No? As you gain electrons, yung +3, it could then be +2, +1, 0, -1, so on and so forth. Okay? So, what is oxidation number or the charge? No? So, yan. When you say oxidation number, that is the actual charge of an atom in a compound or an element. No? So, para siyang formal charges. No? Uh, Same ng idea, pero iba yung context kasi. No? Okay, so pero parang formal charges siya, no? So what we have here is that yun, we are pertaining to the actual charge of your atom, let's say in a compound or a molecule, no? So how do we know the oxidation number? So this has been taught to you in your senior high school, but if not, eto na, no? So let's have a review about the oxidation number. We have 5 basic rules to remember. So we can move along this topic easily, no? So let's go with the first rule. Okay. So the oxidation number of an element in an elementary substance is 0. An elementary substance is a compound whose atoms are the same element, no? So that means if you have a compound that is primarily composed of the same atoms, no? Iisang atom lang yun nandun, then your oxidation number for each of those atoms is 0, no? For example, oxygen, you have 2 oxygen atoms here, oxygen gas. Okay, so this is a compound, no? And hindi lang siya simple compound, that is an elementary substance. So, ano uli yung pwede makuha ang idea for elementary substance, no? So for an elementary substance, that is a compound consisting of the same elements, no? So ibig sabihin, pare-parehas lang yung atom diyan, no? So itong oxygen molecule natin, this is composed of 2 oxygen atoms. If that's the case, then the oxidation number of each oxygen atoms is 0. For Cl2, the chlorine gas, no? So this is another elementary substance, no? Kasi parehas na atom, isang molecule. Okay? So again, ano mangyayari? 0 lang yung oxidation number ng kada chlorine atom dyan. Phosphorus, P4, no? In its usual state, no? So P4 ang molecular form ng phosphorus. So, since it contains the same 4 atoms, no, its oxidation charge will be 0 pa rin. Its oxidation number will be 0 pa rin. No? So, ayan. So, we just defined elementary substance. No? So, when we say elementary substance, these are compounds whose atoms are of the same element. So, kailangan iisa yung atom na meron ka. Kasi if you have other atoms, no, hindi na yun, elementary substance. No? So, heteroatoms na yun eh. So, magkakaibang atoms na yun. So, we do not consider them as elementary substances. Okay? So, yun lang yung first rule, no? So, pag nakita nyo, same ng atom yan, then its oxidation number is automatically 0. Keep in mind, no? Okay, so let's have rule number 2. The oxidation number of an element in a monoatomic ion is equal to the charge of that ion, no? So, let's say you have a charged particle. So, that means its oxidation number is already the charge of the atom itself, no? For example, yung oxide ion natin, O negative 2. So, the charge is negative 2. So, the oxidation number should also be negative 2 as well. No? Cl minus, chloride ion. So, ano yung oxidation number niyan? It will be negative 1. No? So, the oxidation number corresponds to the charge of a monoatomic ion. No? Na plus, no? So, positive 1 yung charge ng Na. So, that means its oxidation number is also positive 1. Okay? So, that applies if you have monoatomic ion, no? So, keep in mind, monoatomic ion, yung kanilang oxidation number is the charge itself. Rule number 3. There are certain elements, no, which bear the common charges or the common oxidation number. Ano yan? Yung mga group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, group 6, group 7. No? So, in our topic sa electron configuration and sa chemical bonding, no? So, nalaman natin that each groups, no, they correspond to a certain oxidation number, no? Or certain charge. No? For example, yung group 1, positive 1 yan because it is willing to lose 1 electron always. Ang group 2, that is usually positive 2, group 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. Na. Okay, pero ito lang yung medyo fixed. No? Yung group 1, 2, and 7. These are the groups with fixed oxidation number. Na. Pero yan, keep in mind, no? Kung ano yung group number, usually yun yung charge. Pero, if usapang oxidation number yan, we are just pertaining to these 3 specific atoms, no? I mean groups, no? Ayan, so group 1, positive 1. Group 2, positive 2. Group 7, usually negative 1, no? For fluorine, no? So, ganun lang. So, keep in mind, So, ganun lang. Let's have rule number 4. Okay, so hydrogen. Hydrogen usually have an oxidation number of positive 1 when it is bonded with non-metals. No? So, kunwari, yung katabi ni hydrogen ay non-metal, positive 1 daw yung charge niya. For example, HCl. Chlorine is non-metal. So, the the oxidation number of hydrogen is positive 1. H2O. So, oxygen is non-metal. So, that means hydrogen is positive 1 in oxidation number. Yun lang. And rule number 5, no? Ano yung rule number 5? The sum of the oxidation numbers of a neutral molecule is 0. So that means if you have a neutral molecule, meaning the molecule doesn't have any charges, no? When you add all the oxidation numbers of the atoms present there, that should be equal to 0. However, if you have polyatomic ions, no, you have ions existing. So when you add up all the oxidation numbers, no, kailangan that must correspond to the charge, no. So for example, we have this polyatomic ion AB. Then yung charge is charge. No? So we can say that the charge is the oxidation number of atom A times the number of that atom plus the oxidation number of atom B times how many B atoms are there and so on and so forth. No? So if you add them up, you will have the charge. No? Okay, so let's have this example. So the compound pH3 has no net charge. So that means the charge is 0. So that means the sum of the formal charge, the oxidation number of phosphorus And the oxidation number of 3 hydrogens, pag pinag-add mo yan, that is 0. Okay? So, ganun ha. So, kapag walang charge, 0 ang sum dapat ng oxidation number. So, that is the oxidation number of hydrogen times 3. Tatlo kasi yung hydrogen. Look at the formula. Plus the oxidation number of phosphorus times the number of phosphorus atom, which is 1. So, kapag pinag-add mo daw yan, 0 yung katumbas. No? Okay, so however, this is the question. What is the oxidation number of phosphorus and hydrogen? So, according to rule number 4, hydrogens, no, if they are paired with non-metals, no, that means its oxidation number is positive 1. So, ibig sabihin, positive 1 yung hydrogen dito. So, now, we will look for phosphorus, no? Okay, so to do that, this is our equation. Charge equals the oxidation number of hydrogen times the number of hydrogen atoms. And i-plus natin yan sa oxidation number of phosphorus times the number of phosphorus atoms. No? Then, since we do not know the oxidation number of phosphorus, we will let that as X. No? Okay, so let's substitute. No? This negative 1 here, positive 1 here, that is the oxidation number of hydrogen because, again, hydrogen is paired with non-metal. No? So, it is always positive 1. Itong 3 naman, this is the number of hydrogen atoms in pH3. No? So, tatlo yun eh. Okay? So, 3. Plus, the oxidation number of phosphorus. Ito hindi natin alam. So, we will let that as X and multiplied by the number of phosphorus atoms. So, look at the formula. We only have 1, so times 1. Okay? Then, simplify. So, the 0 equals 3 plus X. Then solving for X, that's X equals negative 3. So that means the oxidation number of phosphorus is negative 3. No? So another example would be this one. So what is the oxidation number of nitrogen in ammonium ion, NH4+? So what is the charge? Positive 1. Okay? So that means if we add all the oxidation number of nitrogen atoms and the 4 hydrogen atoms, pag pinag-add natin yan lahat, kailangan positive 1 yung net charge, yung total charge. Okay? Okay, so ano alam natin? According to rule number 4, whenever your hydrogen is paired with non-metals, no, they are always positive 1. Okay? So positive 1 yung hydrogen dyan. So we do not know what is the oxidation number of nitrogen. No? So to solve for that, that's charge equals the oxidation number of hydrogen times the number of hydrogen atom plus the oxidation number of nitrogen times the number of nitrogen atoms. No? So we know the charge is equal to positive 1 because of the charge indicated there. No? Pag positive yun, pag positive 2 yan, edi positive 2 to. No? And so on and so forth. Okay, but in our case, that's positive 1, so we'll have a positive 1 charge here. The oxidation number of hydrogen. So again, hydrogen is paired with non-metal, which is nitrogen, so it is always positive 1 in charge. No? The number of hydrogen atoms. So we have 4 hydrogen atoms here as indicated by the subscript. Okay. The oxidation number of nitrogen. So this is what we're going to solve for. So I will let that as X times the number of nitrogen atom, which is just 1. So that's X times 1. Okay, so simplifying that, we will have 1 equal positive 1 times 4 plus X times 1. So we will have this equation. Solving for X, you will see that the oxidation number of nitrogen is negative 3. So parang simple algebra lang siya. Yes, no. So, ganun lang. Basta keep in mind the rules. Okay? Last one. Although this thing, itong bagay na to, we will not focus on this too much. No? Maybe in your analytical chemistry. Yes, doon natin siya makita. But anyway, so it would be better pa rin if we know the 6th rule. No? So, the 6th rule is about the oxygen atom. Oxygen has an oxidation number of -2 unless bounded with group 1 and group 2 metals. So if it is paired with all other metals in the periodic table, transition metals, inner transition metals, group 3, group 4, group 5, group 6, so on and so forth, no? As long as it is paired with other atoms, except group 1 and group 2, it is always -2 in charge, no? However, if it is paired with group 1 elements, no? Group 1 atoms, metals, no? Group 2 as well, no? So the charge is variable. So pwede magbago-bago yung charge, no? For example, H2O here. Okay, so hydrogen is +1. So solving for the oxidation number of oxygen, that will be 0 equals 2 plus X, no? So X is -2. Okay? So yeah, so -2 ang charge or oxidation number of our oxygen atom in H2O, no? Because hydrogen is in group 1, so it is +1 always, no? However, it is not metal. So ano lang, so that is just side kwento, no? Anyway, so let's have the next example. The oxidation number of oxygen in sodium Na2O, no? Sodium oxide is -2. So paano yun, no? We can solve that using rule number 5. So what is the charge of the molecule? 0. So wala naka-indicate sa upper right, no? So that's charge equals the oxidation number of sodium times the number of sodium. You will do this for all the elements, huh? So this is the oxidation of oxygen times the number of oxygens, no? So we know that group 1 metals always have a +1 charge times, oops, sige, ganyan na lang, times how many sodium atoms? Dalawa. Oxidation of oxygen, kunwari, di natin alam, so that will be X, no? The number of oxygen is 1, so X na lang. Charge is 0. So let's solve for X. This is 1 times 2, that's 2. Solving for X, we will have X equals -2. So this is the oxidation number of oxygen for this compound, no? So yun. Saan pumapasok yung exemption? So ito, for example, itong last molecule na. So we have Na2O2, no? So what is the oxidation number of oxygen? Sabi dyan, -1. So let's try to see kung -1 nga, no? So again, charge is equal to the oxidation number of sodium times the number of sodium. The oxidation number of oxygen times the number of oxygen. Okay? So the charge is 0. Since wala naman naka-indicate doon sa molecule, wala naman nakalagay dito na charge sa upper right corner. So that's 0. For sodium, that is always +1 because it is group 1 atom. No? So +1 times the number of Na atom, which is 2. Then oxidation number of oxygen, I will let that as X. Kunwari, di ko alam, no? Which is di ko kunwari alam. Times the number of oxygen atoms, which is 2. So let's solve for X. So that's 0. 1 times 2 is 2. X times 2, 2X. Lipat natin yung 2 dito sa kabila, no? So dito ka sa left side. So that's -2 equals 2X divided by 2. So you will have X equals to -1. So as you can see, the oxidation number of oxygen may vary, no? If it is paired with group 1 and group 2 elements, no? So pwede magbago yung kanya oxidation number. Okay? So only if it is paired with group 1 and group 2. So yun lang. So those are the basic rules, no? So again, let's have a quick recap, no? So let's have a quick recap. Rule number 1, for elementary substances, the oxidation number of the atom is 0. So when you say elementary substance, that pertains to a compound whose atoms are the same, no? So compound siya, naiisa yung atom. If that's the case, 0 ang oxidation number. Rule number 2, for monoatomic ions, regardless whether that is cation or anion, so its oxidation number is the charge itself. No? Ayan yung examples. Na. Rule number 3, there are certain elements that bear the common charge, no? The fixed charge. So that's group 1, group 2, and group 7. Group 1, positive 1. Group 2, positive 2. Group 7, usually negative 1, especially for fluorine. Okay? So yung mga kailangan lang kabisaduhin or isa puso. Okay? Rule number 4, when hydrogen is paired with nonmetals, its oxidation number is always positive 1. Sir, paano kapag sa metal yan nakadikit? Okay. When hydrogen is bonded to metals naman, its oxidation number is negative 1. Okay? So, yun. Kaya nga may nakita akong meme sa Facebook, no? So, nandun yung group 1 atoms, no? Sabi doon, there is one impostor among us, no? So, the impostor kasi sa group 1 is hydrogen. Okay? So, mapapansin nyo sa group 1 na periodic table, ano mapapansin nyo doon? You have your metals and then yung hydrogen, nandun siya mag-isa. Non-metal si hydrogen, di ba? Okay, so yun lang. Okay, so again, when hydrogen is paired with non-metals, it is positive 1 in charge. If it is paired with metals, edi negative 1. Okay, so balimbing siya, no? Okay, kaya nga impostor siya. Okay, may fake task siya. So rule number 5, no, if you want to obtain the total charge of the molecule, all you have to do is to multiply the oxidation number of each atom times the number of atoms. No? So you have to do that for all the atoms. Keep in mind the previous rules lang. Okay. And then rule number 6, yun nga, oxygen. Usually that's negative 2 unless it's bonded with group 1 and group 2 metals. No? So, pag nakabond siya with group 1 and group 2 metals, you have to check. Malay mo kasi hindi negative 2 eh. No? So, yun lang. So, I will answer some exercises. When I say some, sasagutan ko lahat. Kasi wala naman ako kausap dito sa pre-recorded class discussion. So, medyo malungkot. Sagutan ko na lang lahat. No? Pero I hope na while I am answering, no? So, I hope na tinatry nyo rin sagutan, no? Okay, so let me do that. NH3. Okay. So let's answer number 1, NH3. So we are asked to identify the oxidation numbers of each element in the following substances. NH3. Okay, rule number 4. Hydrogen, when paired with non-metals, it is always positive 1. Okay, so ganun lang. Hydrogen is positive 1. So how about nitrogen? Kunwari di ko alam. No? So if I'm going to solve for the oxidation number of nitrogen, that is, paano yung formula? Charge equals the oxidation number of nitrogen. Palitan ko ng color. Yan. Times the number of nitrogen. Okay. Plus, ganun din naman sa hydrogen, no? Oxidation number of hydrogen. Hindi pala masyadong kita yung color change. Times the number of hydrogen. Okay, so ganun lang. So what is the charge? Wala nakalagay. So 0 yan pag ganun. Okay. Oxidation number of nitrogen. Ito hindi ko alam. So I will let this as X. The number of nitrogen atom, isa lang naman yon. So di ko na ilalagay. X times 1 is X, no? So X na lang yan. Plus, oxidation number of hydrogen. That's positive 1. Times the number of hydrogen atoms. 3. So 3 yan, no? So positive 1 times 3 is 3. We solved for X. So we just found out that X is negative 3. Okay, so nitrogen is negative 3 in formal charge. No? Sulat na lang natin dito. Hindi ko na pala isusulat. Nasa PowerPoint na pala. May copy naman kayo. No? So, ayan. So, anyway, so that's the answer. Okay. Now, let me proceed with the second one. Calcium oxide. Palitan ko yung color. Yan. Calcium oxide. Okay. Alalahanin lahat ng rules. Pansin nyo, calcium is group 2. Oxygen is paired with group 2. Hala. Okay. So, ano yung rules na sinabi natin? Okay. So, one of the rule, I don't know if the rule number 3 on, sabi doon, there are some elements no in certain groups that possess the fixed charge no. Pag group 1 positive 1, pag group 2 positive 2. Oxygen, since this is paired with ano, since it is paired with group 2 metals no, it means hindi fixed yung negative 2. It may vary, diba? So anyway, so yung calcium alam natin is oxidation number will be 2 kasi fixed yon. Group 1 positive 1, group 2 positive 2, group 7 usually negative 1. Okay, so keep in mind na. So yung oxygen kunwari hindi natin alam na. So let's solve for the charge of oxygen na. I mean the oxidation number of oxygen. So that's charge equals oxidation number of calcium times the number of calcium, oxidation number of oxygen times the number of oxygen. We have calcium, positive 2, kasi fix yan, no? Times 1, okay? Plus, I don't know the oxidation number of oxygen for now, times 1 oxygen atom. What is the charge? That's 0. Wala naman nakalagay doon eh. Okay. So, let's solve for x, no? So, 2 times 1 is 2. X times 1 is x, no? So, solving for x, that's negative 2. No? So, oxygen is negative 2. Okay? So, yun. So, ganun lang. No? So, let's try the remaining atoms. No? Okay. Sub number 3, dichromate ion, Cr2O7, negative 2. Okay, so what can we notice here? No? Okay, look, oxygen is paired with a transition metal. So, yan. So, when oxygen is paired with any metals other than group 1 and group 2 metals, so yung charge niya is always negative 2. No? Fix yan. Kapag hindi niya partner si group 1 and group 2, always negative 2 siya. Okay? Oxygen is always negative 2. Then, what's left is chromium. Let's solve for the chromium. Okay? So, paano yung formula dyan? So, that's charge equal the oxidation number of chromium times the number of chromium atoms plus the oxidation number of oxygen times the number of oxygen atoms. No? So what is the charge? So the charge is negative 2, no? As indicated by the exponent. No? The oxidation number of chromium, hindi ko alam, so I will let that as x. No? Times the number of chromium atoms. How many chromium atoms do I have here? 2, no? So 2. Oxidation number of oxygen. So that's fixed, negative 2 yan, no? Times the number of oxygen atom, 7. Dami, no? So let's solve for x na. So this is negative 2. 2 times x is 2x. Plus negative 2 times 7, negative 14. Okay, so negative 14 ko na. Okay, so solving for x, itong negative 14, lipat ko sa kabila, it will become positive, no? So 14 minus 2 equals 2x. What's 14 minus 2? 12, no? 2x. Okay, so we can see that x is equal to 6 now. So the oxidation number of chromium is 6 now, positive 6. So ganun lang, okay? So yan. Let's have number 4. Dapat pala blue. So MnO4, permanganate ion. So looking at this molecule, oxygen is paired with manganese, which is a transition metal. So transition metal si manganese. No? So again, when oxygen is paired with any metals other than group 1 and group 2, its oxidation number is always -2. So that means yung manganese, hindi natin alam. So let's solve na. So let's construct the formula muna. That's charge equals oxidation number of Mn, yan, times the number of Mn plus the oxidation number of oxygen times the number of oxygen atoms. No? Okay, so let's apply the info na meron tayo. So the charge is -1 as indicated by the exponent, -1. Oxidation number of manganese, I don't know. X yan. Red na lang. Ayan. Para kita. Times the number of manganese atoms. Isa lang. Plus oxidation number of oxygen. In this case, that's always -2 times the number of oxygen atoms, which is 4. Then let's solve for x now. So -1. 1 times x is x. Red pala dapat. Plus, -2 times 4 is -8. No? That pala hindi ko na nilagay yung plus. -8. So let's solve for x. No? So I will transpose it here. So it will become positive. Ay, that's 8 minus 1. Nilagay ko na yung sagot eh. No? 8 minus 1 equal x, or x is 7. So the oxidation number of manganese is +7. Okay. So ganun lang yung pag-solve. And lastly, we have hexachlorine platinum. Ayun. So yan. Okay, so again, so ano yung mga rules na pwede natin i-apply? Okay, remember that for group 7, their usual charge is -1. So we can apply it here. No? So Cl is usually -1 kasi group 7 yan. No? So yan. So that means we're left with platinum, question mark. Okay, so let's solve for the charge. No? So let's construct the equation. Charge equals the number of, the oxidation number of platinum times the number of platinum atoms, the oxidation number of chlorine times the number of chlorine atom. Okay, so what is the charge? Looking at this, you have -1, no? -1 charge. The oxidation number of platinum is, I don't know, so x yan, times the number of platinum atom, which is 1. Oxidation number of chlorine, sabi natin that's usually -1 times the number of chlorine atoms. So this time we have 6 na. Okay, so then let's solve for x na. Simplify muna. It's -1 equal to x. -1 times 6, -6 na. So -6. Then to solve for x, lipat mo yan doon. You will have 6 minus 1 equal x. Then we can say that x is equal to 5 na. So the charge of platinum is +5 na. Its oxidation number is +5. Okay, so ganun lang ka-easy na. So that's the basics na for the redox reaction. You have to know the oxidation numbers first na. Okay, so now we're done with the oxidation numbers. We can now proceed with the redox reactions ulit. No? So balik ulit tayo. Alam ko medyo nakalimutan nyo na ulit, kaya tinype ko ulit. No? Okay. So we now know how the oxidation numbers work, no? So ganun lang yung rules, no? Keep in mind them. You can save screenshots para mas madali makabesado, no? Okay, but anyway, so let's proceed with this one, no? So let's go back to the redox reaction. Balik tayo. So in redox reaction, two reactions are happening simultaneously. That's the reduction reaction where your substance is losing electron, and oxidation reaction in which your substance will, baliktad pala. Yung oxidation number, yun yung maglo-lose ng electron, and then yung reduction reaction, that is the substance gaining electrons na. Teka lang. Okay, so yun. So, ayan na. So, we have two reactions happening in redox reaction. Reduction, may nag-gain ng electron. Oxidation, may naglo-lose ng electron. For you not to be confused, let's use the oil rig instead. No? Oxidation is losing, reduction is gaining electrons. No? And we should take note that whenever your element, no, whenever the atom is oxidized, its oxidation number increases. So, mas lalo nagiging positive yung kanyang oxidation number. That's one indication that it underwent oxidation reaction. Okay? Kapag reduced naman siya, what will happen to the oxidation number is that it will decrease na. So, that's one indication for the reduction reaction. Kunwari, positive 5 is naging negative 2. So, that's reduction. No, it gained electrons. Pero kunwari, from negative 2, naging positive 3. So, that's oxidation. Okay? So, yun. Okay? So, another mnemonic here is this one, the Leora-Geroa. So, the substance that loses the electrons is called the reducing agent. And the substance that gains electron is called the oxidizing agent. Mukhang baliktad, yes. Pero yun talaga yung tawag na. Okay. So, ibig sabihin on the substance that underwent oxidation reaction, ang tawag sa kanya ay reducing agent. So, kumbaga siya yung tutulong sa reduction reaction. Kaya agent, no? Tumutulong sa kabila, no? Parang sales agent yan, di ba? Kunwari, naghanap ka ng bahay. Ang gagawin ng sales agent, yun yung lalapit sa'yo. Siya yung mamimigay ng flyer. So, for redox reaction, ganun din, no? So, yung substance that is being oxidized, siya yung reducing agent, no? Siya yung namimigay ng electrons para sa reduction reaction. Okay? Hindi ng flyers, ah. Okay, so yan. So, kunwari naman, we have the reduction reaction. No? The substance that undergoes reduction, that is called the oxidizing agent. No? Siya naman yung agent that helps the oxidation process na. So, siya yung tumatanggap ng binibigay ng oxidation. Okay, so kumbaga parang mapapansin nyo, ay, yung confusing, no? So, para hindi confusing, we have this mnemonic, no? Leora-Geroa. Zoom in tayo. So, Leora. So, when you say Leora, Le, losing electron, O, that is oxidation. Para siyang oil rig, no? However, dinagdag natin dito yung idea ng reducing agent. No? So, whatever the substance that is being oxidized, that is the reducing agent. Okay? So, yung nag-oxidize ng substance, yun yung reducing agent. Don't confuse yourself with the oxidizing agent. Ano yung uli yung logic natin dito? Yung oxidation, no? Yung substance that undergoes oxidation reaction, siya yung namimigay ng electron. Siya yung sales agent, no? Para matuloy yung reaction. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, we have Geroa naman, no? Okay. Hindi siya yung J-Rowa na singer, ha? So, Geroa. No? So, GE, gaining electron, R, reduction. And the substance that undergoes reduction, we call that the OA, oxidizing agent. No? Siya naman yung tumutulong for the oxidation reaction. No? So, yan. So, yan. Don't confuse yourselves na lang. No? So, Leora-Geroa, losing electron, oxidation, reducing agent. Gaining electron, reduction, oxidizing agent. No? So, yan. Whoever the substance that loses electrons, that is the reducing agent. Whoever the substance that is oxidized, no, that is the reducing agent also. The substance that gains electrons, we call that the oxidizing agent. No? Whoever the substance that undergoes reduction reaction, we also call that the oxidizing agent. Okay, so Leo or Ageroa. No? So let's consider this equation. So for now, for simplicity, unbalanced muna sila. So is this a redox reaction? Let's check. One way to check if that's a redox reaction is to check the oxidation numbers. No? So sige. So ZnS, no? That's zinc na solid. No? If you have a solid metal, its oxidation number is usually 0. Pag metal yan, tas solid, 0 agad yun. No? Ayoko mag-joke ng score sa quiz eh. Pero 0 kapag metal na solid. Okay? Keep in mind na. So, hydronium ion. So, this is monatomic ion. That's the oxidation number, positive 1. Zinc ion. So, this is a monatomic ion. What's the oxidation number? Positive 2. Hydrogen gas. What's the oxidation number of hydrogen here? This is an elementary substance, diba? Kasi this is a compound of same atoms. No? So, ano yung oxidation number ng hydrogen dyan? 0. Okay. So, let's check what happened now. For zinc and for hydrogen. I should have used other colors. But anyway, so yan. So, let's check what happened kay zinc and kay hydrogen. No? So, zinc, in the reactant, 0 yung oxidation number niya. In the product, positive 2 yung charge niya. So, it is clear that it underwent oxidation reaction. Again, paano mo malalaman kapag nag-undergo siya ng oxidation reaction? The charge becomes more positive as it loses electrons. No? So, nawalan siya ng ilang electron. 2. No? So, from 0 to 2, bilangin mo kung ilan steps yan. 1, 2. Okay. So, 2 electrons yung nawala. No? Pag positive. However, for hydrogen atom, so we have positive 1 here, then again 0 doon. So, ano na? That's reduction. No? Bakit naging reduction? Whenever the oxidation number decreases, no? Meaning bumababa yung oxidation number, that's reduction. So we have positive 1, bumaba siya to 0. So that's reduction. Okay? Okay, so by just observing, by just observing, we see that the oxidation number of zinc increased from 0 to 2, hence it is oxidized. No? The oxidation number of hydrogen atom decreased from positive 1 to 0, hence it is reduced. No? Okay? So yun lang yung first key no, na kailangan nyo gawin. You have to identify which one undergoes oxidation reaction, which one undergoes reduction reaction. No? To balance them, ito medyo special to, no? Kaya separate topic to, no? So this reaction is not balanced now. When balancing them kasi, when balancing redox reactions, hindi siya typical na balancing na ginagawa natin, no? So, hindi siya yung maglalagay ka lang ng coefficient tapos na. No. Kasi this time we are involving electrons, no? So we have to account for that now. So when balancing redox reactions, you have to be careful. Tignan niyo kung ano gagawin natin. So let's balance them. So, the first step for you to balance them is to separate the equation into half reactions. What are the half reactions? Ano lang yon? Those are reactions where you can see the oxidation reaction and the reduction reaction in separate equations. So, di ba kanina, we just identified that zinc underwent oxidation and hydrogen underwent reduction. So in creating half reactions, you have to split them. No? So from isang buong equation, gagawin natin siyang two separate equation. Ito yung oxidation. This is yung reduction. Okay? So yan yung first step. You separate your entire equation into two. No? So, ganun. So, we call these two equations the half reactions. No? So, ganun lang. Ano susunod? Okay. So, the second step is for you to count the total charge per side of the reaction by multiplying the coefficient and the charge of the species. So, kunin daw natin yung total charge sa left and sa right ng half equation. Okay. So, gawin natin yon. So, let's have this zinc. So, again, the charge of zinc, if it is metal, the charge of the metal is 0. No? So, let's check the total charge of the left side now. Okay. So, let's check the total charge of the left side now. So, that's 1 times 0, that is 0. So, 0 yung total charge dito. On the product side, that's 1 times positive 2. 1. Kapag wala nakalagay na coefficient, 1 yan. So, 1 times positive 2 is positive 2. So, for the oxidation reaction, the left side has a total charge of 0. The right side has a total charge of positive 2. So, gawin naman natin sa reduction. In the reduction, ganun din yung process. No? So, that's coefficient times the charge. No? So, this is 1 times positive 1, which is 1. So 1 times 0, no? The oxidation number of hydrogen is 0. Okay, so that's 1 times 0, 0. Okay. So yan. So nakuha natin yung total charge na of both sides of the equation. Okay. Tapos anong gagawin? In balancing redox reaction, ito kasi important, no? Bago tayo pumunta dyan. When we balance redox reaction, we first balance the charges, no? Ito yung unang priority, no? Balance the charges, balance the atoms. Okay. So, pwede naman pagsabayan, no? Wala naman distinction pala kung sino yung priority or what, no? Pero ito yung gagawin natin. We balance the charges as well as the atoms. Okay? So, keep in mind yan. Okay. So, in order to balance the charges of the half reactions, we add electrons, which is -1 in charge, to the side with the highest charge, no? Okay? So, gawin natin yan, no? Teka lang. Okay. So, di ba, on the left side, we have 0 charge here. Dito sa right side, we have positive 2 charge here, no? So, saan ba sir maglalagay ng electron? You always add electrons sa side na may highest charge, no? How many? Just enough to bring the charges equal, no? To make the charges equal. To bring down the charge, no? So, ganun yung gagawin natin. Okay, so gagawin natin, itong positive 2 dito na charge, gagawin natin siyang 0. How? By subtracting 2 sa charge, no? So, we can subtract 2 sa charge by introducing electrons, no? Because again, electrons are -1 in charge, no? So, E negative yan. So, that's 2 times -1 is -2. Okay? So, as we add 2 electrons here, ano mangyayari? This is 1 times 2 plus 2 times -1. So, if you add that, 0 na siya. Okay? So, we can say that this reaction here, itong oxidation reaction here, ay balanced na. Balance in a sense na, ano, yung charges ay pantay na. Yung atoms balance naman eh, no? So, may isa kang zinc dito, may isa doon, no? So, ganun. So, balance na yan. How about yun nasa baba? Charge muna tayo, ha? So, on the right side, we have 0 charge. On the left side, kanina positive 1 to. Sino mas mataas? Positive 1 o 0? That's positive 1. So, that means if you want to bring down the positive 1 charge to be equal to 0, ilang electrons idadagdag? Isa lang. So, you have to deduct 1 charge by adding 1 electron. Okay? Okay, so, yan, by adding 1 electron, the total charge will be 1 times -1, yun yung kay electron, plus 1 times positive 1. So, if you add that, that's 0. So, pantay na yung charges na sa reduction and sa oxidation reaction. Okay? So once the charges are already balanced, no, you can continue balancing the atoms din naman, no. So pwede mo naman gawin yan simultaneously, no. So for example, okay. So for example here, yung ginawa natin dito. 'Di ba na-balance na natin yung electrons, no? So na-balance na natin yung electrons. Pero we also want to balance the atoms, no? Kasi sabi ng conservation of mass, 'di ba? So to balance the atoms, ang gagawin mo lang is you will multiply this equation. Teka lang. Babalance natin yung hydrogen atoms, no? So may dalawa dito. So that means yung H plus natin ay kailangan maging 2, no? So ano mangyayari sa charge niyan? So that's 2 times positive 1, magiging positive 2 na, no? So hindi na pala ito masusunod, no? Magiging positive 2 yan, no? So ilang electrons ang kailangan para maging 0 din yan? Dalawang electron din, no? So you will add, instead of 1, will have 2 electrons instead, no? Okay. So ganun. So 2 electrons yung idadagdag pag binalance yung atoms, okay? So that's 2 times negative 1 plus 2 times positive 1. So that will give you a total charge here equal to 0. Okay? So ayan. So we have this na. So ito yung ating reduction, oxidation rather, yung reduction reaction na. By the way, may typo ako dito So this is typo. Kaya nagtaka ako yan. Okay, so yan. Typo yan. Okay. So yan. So ito yung mga correction natin. So screenshot ko na lang, send ko sa group. Anyway, so ito na tayo, no? Okay, so let's have this, no? So ito na yung ating final equation, no? For the oxidation, that's zinc arrow zinc 2 plus 2 electron. The electron is in the product side, no? To balance the charges. 0 yung charge dito, positive 2 times negative 2. So 0 din. Okay? For reduction naman, the electron is on the left side, no? So sa product side kasi 0 yung charge, dito sa left side 2 times negative 1 plus 2 times positive 1. 0 na rin. No? So, balance na yung charge. At the same time, balance na yung atoms. Okay? And so, keep in mind lang. Okay. So, anong gagawin natin? No? So, di ba kanina pinag-split natin yung reaction? We split the entire equation into 2 half reactions. No? So, after mo mapaghiwalay sila, ang last goal nyo kasi is pagsamahin ulit sila. No? So, pagsasamahin nyo yung pinaghiwalay nyo. No? Okay, so paano pinagsasama yan? No? You check the electrons. No? Tignan mo yung electrons. So, look at the electrons. If they are the same, then you can cancel them. No? Parang yung sa ano siya, sa spectator ions. No? So, if nag-exist yung electron on the left side and on the right side, you can cancel them. Okay, so gagawin nyo dyan, para makuha mo yung overall equation, ipag-add mo lang yan, no? So, i-add mo to, so you will have this combined equation. Yung pinaghiwalay ay nagsama na muli, no? Sana lahat. Anyway, so yan. So, mapapansin nyo, you have 2 electrons here, 2 electrons there, you can cancel them. Sir, paano po pa magkaiba yan? Kunwari, 3 electrons to. Tapos ito 2 electrons. In case na ganun, no, I think may example tayo mamaya. No? In case na hindi balance yung electron, when I say hindi balance, kunwari ito 3, ito 2. Kasi pag kinancel mo yung may matitirang electron, di ba? Dapat kasi walang matirang electron. The electrons should totally cancel out. So in such cases, may example tayo mamaya. I will show you how. No? So anyway, for now, balance muna yung electrons. No? So may 2 electrons dito, may 2 electrons doon. Kailangan ma-cancel out ang electrons. Keep in mind, no? Hindi pwedeng may matirang electrons. No? So that means our balance equation is this one. No? So walang electrons kang makikita. Pero alam mo na may dalawang electron na transfer. No? So, yun lang. Ano pa yung mga special tips na pwede ko mabigay sa inyo? So, mapapansin nyo, kapag oxidation yung reaction, nasa product side yung electron. Pag reduction reaction, nasa left side yung electron. So, ganun. Yun yung para pag isang tinginan nyo lang, alam nyo na kung sino yung oxidation, sino yung reduction. Okay? So, yun. Pag nasa product side yung electron, oxidation yun. Pag nasa left side, reduction yan. Okay? So, by the way, itong mga kinancel kong to, typo ko yun. Sorry. Gabi ko yung ginawa dati. So, I forgot to check again. No? So, in summary, burahin ko uli yan. Okay, so in summary, this is the final equation that is already balanced in terms of charges and in terms of atoms now. So ano alam natin dito? That zinc undergoes oxidation reaction. So since it underwent oxidation reaction, we can call zinc as the reducing agent now. So remember Leora-Geroa. Yung substance that underwent oxidation reaction is the reducing agent. No? Ito yung tumutulong sa reduction reaction. Okay? Yung H plus naman, or the H atom, H plus, that underwent reduction reaction. So, nag-gain siya ng electron. No? So, since it is reduced, no? Siya yung nag-undergo ng reduction reaction, we call that deoxidizing agent. No? Always yung reactant yung nilalagyan ng label na reducing agent at oxidizing agent. No? Yung reactant yung may label, yung product hindi wala. No? Okay, so yung reactant na zinc, siya yung reducing agent because it underwent oxidation reaction. Yung reactant na H plus that underwent reduction reaction, hence we call it the oxidizing agent. So siya yung tumutulong sa oxidation reaction. Okay, so keep in mind the Leora-Geroa lang. Okay, so as one final activity for this part, no? Okay, so may charge na uli yung pencil. So let's do this. So let's balance the three, no? So zinc plus copper to zinc and copper. Aluminum, iron, iron to aluminum. Nickel, dot. So, gawin natin yan. So, simple lang naman yan no? Sa ngayon. Okay. So, I will try number 1. So, sagutan ko na lahat. Number 1. Okay, so ano gagawin natin? You split them into half equations na. So, kahit ngayon, kahit di ka muna mag-identify kung sino yung oxidation, sino yung reduction, okay lang. So, how are you going to split them into half equations? Check mo yung similar atoms. No? So, sa zinc and zinc, so similar atom yan. So, I will create my half equation as ganyan. Yung copper and copper, 2 plus, no? So, yan ay similar atoms. So, pag silang magkasama sa ating, sa ating half equation. Okay? So, yan. So, you have this zinc to zinc 2 plus, copper 2 plus to copper. So, let's balance the atoms, no? Balance na ba yung atoms? Zinc and zinc. So, tigi-isang atom yan. Okay lang. Copper, tigi-isang atom din. Okay lang na. Okay, so let's have the charges naman. So, kunin natin yung total charge. Okay, so zinc, ano yung total charge niyan? Pag wala nakalagay, 0. Ito, positive 2. So, on the left side, you have 0. On the right side, you have positive 2. How are you going to make them equal? Paano mo sila gagawin parehas 0? I will add electron sa product side. No? So, ilang electron kaya idadagdag ko dito? 2. So, 2 electron. Bakit? Kasi positive 2 yan plus negative 2. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So, yung positive 2, pag nilagyan ko ng negative 2, magiging 0. The goal is kailangan magpantay yung charges. No? So, kailangan yung mababa yung susundin. Na yung mataas na charge, yun yung ibababa. Okay? So, yun. So, ito positive 2. To, kaya binaba natin to 0 to make them equal. Okay? So, mapapansin nyo, the electron is on the product side. Ano yung technique natin dyan? Pag nasa product side yung electron, that's oxidation. So, that means yung kabila, matic reduction yun. So, kailangan yung electron nasa left side. No? Let's check. So, the total charge on the left side is positive 2. On the right side, wala nakalagay na charge, so 0. Okay? So, positive 2, 0. So, saan maglalagay ng electron? Sa left side, kasi andun yung positive 2. Ilang electrons yung ilalagay para mag-balance yung charges? Dalawa. That's 2 times negative 1 plus 2. 0 yan. So, 0 na yung charge dito. Sa kabila, 0 din na. So, after balancing the atoms and the charges, we can now combine them. Okay, so yan. Then ano masasabi natin? If the electrons are the same, cancel them. No? So, kailangan walang matitirang electron sa final answer. So, yan. So, this is our final answer. Okay? So, yan. So, that's how you balance the redox reaction. Okay? So, ganun lang kasimple. No? Again, kailangan walang matirang electron. Bawal may matirang electron. No? Sir, paano kung may matitira? E di may gagawin tayong paraan, no? Sige. Let's do number 2. So, gawin natin to. Okay, so ano gagawin? Split them into half equations. Ano yung mga similar atoms? Aluminum and aluminum 3+. Then yung iron and iron atom. Okay. So, let's balance the atoms. So, are the atoms balanced? Yes. May isa kang aluminum dito, may isa rin doon. May isang iron dito, may isa rin doon. So, okay na tayo doon. Okay na yung atoms. Charges naman ngayon. So, what is the charge here? Dito sa aluminum, left side, yan ay 0. On the right side, you have positive 3. Saan maglalagay ng electron? Sa side na malaki yung charge, dun sa positive 3. Ilang electrons kailangan idagdag? Just enough to bring that down to 0 para magpantay sila ng charge na. Kasi 0 dito, dito positive 3, di ba? So I will add 3 electrons here to make the positive 3 equal to 0. Okay? So dito naman sa baba, I have Fe3+, dito Fe, no? So, ano yung charge dito sa right side? This is 0 kasi wala naman naka-indicate na charge, no? On the left side, I have 3+, no? So, 3+ yan. So, ano gagawin ko? Saan ako maglalagay ng electron? Sa left side, no? How many? 3 electrons. Okay, so since they are balanced na yung atom, balance na yung atom and yung electrons, we can now add them. Oh, by the way, let's identify sino yung oxidation and reduction reaction. No? So, ang oxidation dito would be yung electron ay nasa product side. No? So, yung nasa taas. Nasa baba, yun yung reduction. Kasi yung electron ay nasa reactant side, meaning tumanggap to ng electron. Ito naman, naglabas ng electron. Okay? So, pag-add natin, okay? So, cancel natin yung mga electrons. They are the same. So, cancel lang. Kailangan walang matirang electron, no? So, the final answer is this one. Okay, so this is our final answer. No? So I will take a screenshot. No? So ganun lang siya ka-simple. No? For now, yung future topic kasi nito is next sem. No? Kaya madali lang muna ngayon this sem. No? So yung sa mga susunod sa next sem, sa analytical chemistry nyo, dun yung mahirap na. No? Although kaya naman yan, especially kung naaalala nyo pa yung topic. Okay, so let's do this. No? Last item. Although magdadagdag ako ng isa. Wala pala dito yung magkaibang dami ng electron. Pero anyway, madali lang yan. Promise. So, gawin natin to. So, pair them based on the atoms. So, yung nickel, pagsasamahin ko. Yung chromium, ganun din. Okay. So, after doing that, check the charges. Check the charges. On the left side of the top equation, I have positive 2 charge on the left side. On the right side, I had 0 charge. So, saan ako maglalagay ng electron? Sa left side. No? Left side. Kasi ito yung positive 2. Yun yung 0. Mas mataas yung positive 2. So, we will add electrons on the positive 2 side. How many electrons to make it 0? Dalawa. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, that's 2 times negative 1. 1 times positive 2. So, i-add mo yan. That's equal now to 0. No? So, yan. So, balance na yung atoms. Balance yung electrons. Let's do the second one. The chromium. So, we have 1 chromium here. Sa kabila, we have 2 plus. No? Sige. So, gawin natin to. No? Let's solve for this one. So, ano meron tayo dito? We have 1 chromium here. 2 plus doon. So, 0 yung charge dito sa left side. On the right side, that's positive 2. Saan ako maglalagay ng electron? Sa right side. No? Kasi yun yung positive 2 eh. Okay? So, ilang electron idadagdag ko? Dalawa. Okay? So, 2 electrons. So, ganun lang. Then, since balance na yung atoms, balance na yung electrons, we can now combine them. Combine. Pagsamahin natin sila. So, then anong pwede natin gawin? We can cancel now the electrons. They are the same, no? Okay, so cancel lang. So, kailangan walang matirang electron. So, the final equation is this one. Okay, so yan yung final equation natin, no? Box natin. Okay, so mapapansin nyo, medyo madali yung examples natin. Yes, no? Kasi simple lang yung coverage ng topic natin sa ngayon, no? Okay, so yung in-depth discussion dito ay makikita nyo sa analytical chemistry nyo, which is next sem pa naman, no? So you still have plenty of time to study, no? Pero ako, bibigyan ko na kayo ng advanced na basic, advanced na redox reaction. So, hindi lang yung ganito ka-simple. No? So, magdadagdag ako. No? So, allow me to open my, hanapin ko yung file. Hanapin ko muna. End ko muna. So, ang ibibigay ko sa inyo is yung additional info, no, on how to balance redox reactions, no. So, mas maganda yung alam nyo na yung advanced, no. Hanapin ko lang. Okay, so yan, kita ko na. Okay. So, ayan. So, we have plenty of time naman, no? Ito na lang. Itong isa lang. Okay. So, itong letter number 1, we have theoretical substances here. This will be the last one, no? Actually, balance na siya, no? Teka lang. Di ba sabi ko kanina, paano kapag hindi balance yung electrons? Meaning, dalawa dito, sa kabila, tatlo. So, paano yung remedyo doon, no? So, ganito lang. For example, we have this A2+. Okay, so yan. So, balance na yung atom, balance na yung charges. No? So, 2+, ito 0 yung charge. So, we have to add 2 electrons there. This is 3+, this is 0 in charge. So, we have to add 3 electrons to make the charges equal. So, di ba kapag pinagsasama natin yan, and we are combining them, ano ginagawa natin? No? So, there is an enough number of electrons. So, the atoms will cancel out. No? I mean, the electrons will cancel out totally. So, kailangan kasi wala maiwan. Pero this time, tignan nyo, may tatlo dito, may dalawa doon. So, pag kinancel natin yan, may matitirang electron sa equation. Bawal yon. Bawal yan, ha? So, bawal yung may matirang electron dyan sa equation mo. So, that means, in order for the electrons to be completely eliminated, para mawala sila ng tuluyan, ano pwede natin gawin? Ito yung tip, na we will get the greatest common factor of 3 and 2, which is 6, no? So, itong 3 electrons gagawin natin 6. Itong 2 electrons gagawin natin 6. How? We will multiply the entire equation by a number to make the electrons the same. So, 6 yung goal nating number of electrons for each equation. So, I have 2 electrons here to make them 6, no? To make that equal to 6, I will multiply the entire equation by 3. Yung sa baba naman, tatlo yung electrons ko dito. To make that 6, kailangan ko i-multiply yung entire equation na yan by 2. No? So, ano yung makukuha ko? So, I have 3A plus 3A2 plus 6 electrons. Yung B naman, so that's 2B3 plus 6 electrons, dalawang B. No? So, yun yung goal. Pag hindi parehas yung dami ng electrons, kunwari, tatlo to, dalawa yun. No? Kunwari, ganun yung case. Ano gagawin nyo? Pag hindi pantay yung dami ng electrons dyan, all you have to do is to make them equal. Get the greatest common factor, then you multiply the entire equation by a number so that you will arrive with the common factor. No? Okay, so ito 2, ito 3. Ang common factor nila is 6. No? So you have to multiply this entire equation by 2. The other equation has to be multiplied with 3, no, to make them equal. No, para maging equal sa 6 yung electrons. So now we have 6 electrons here, 6 electrons there. So pagsamahin na natin sila. Okay, so ito na yung ating equation. So mapapansin nyo, we have 6 electrons on the left side. We have 6 electrons now on the right side. So we can cancel them. And we will have the final answer 2B3 plus 3A 3A2 plus 2B. No? So, yan, that is our final answer. Again, keep in mind that the electrons should totally cancel out. No? So pag may natira dyan, mali yun. Ano kailangan gawin? Kunin ang greatest common factor. Then i-multiply yung equations to make the number of electrons equal, such as in our case here. No? So yun lang. And that's the basics of redox reaction. Again, you will discover more of it in your analytical chemistry, no? Yung mga may oxygens, no? So, yun. So, anyway, anachem na yun. Next sem na lang. Okay? So, that's the basics of redox reaction. So, yun lang. If you have any questions, just let me know, no? So, yun lang. And then, just some few reminders, no? Yung ano pala, yung quiz 4 natin, 2 parts yan. Di ba sabi ko sa inyo nung orientation, the fourth topic, which is this one, dalawang parts yan. No? So, ano yung mga dalawang parts na yan? So, madadali lang naman yung quiz items. No? Siyempre, ako gumawa. So, alam ko, madali. So, punta lang kayo ng canvas nyo dito sa quizzes. Hanapin nyo yung ito, quiz 4, lecture part 1 and part 2. So, 2 parts to. Purpose is for you to master the questions, no? Para ma-master nyo yung topics, no? So, you can take it now, no? After you watch this. So, this is the last part of chapter 4. Next meeting, chapter 5 tayo. The last topic for the midterm period, no? Okay? So anyway, so chapter 4, quiz 4, no? So ano gagawin natin dito? Ang coverage dyan ay types of chemical reactions excluding redox reaction. So ito yung diniscuss natin last week. Pwede nyo na ito kunin. Kunin nyo na, no? Take nyo na yan. So, ang next part naman ay ganun pa rin naman, pero may redox reaction and may oxidation numbers na. So, yun. So, kunin nyo na rin tong quiz na to after watching these videos. No? So, yun lang. So, galingan nyo. And, ang plan ko for chapter 5, no, is that I will record na lang the chapter 5 kasi concept lang naman to. Dali lang to. Yun. Re-record ko siya so we can have more time to study, no, for the midterm exam. So, yun lang. So, quiz 4, the 2-part questions are now open. No? So, 40 questions yan in total. So, yan. So, galingan nyo na lang. And yun lang. So, that's all. So, if you have any questions, just let me know so I can attend to your needs. No? So, yun lang. And I'll see you again next time. So, stay safe and yun, aral maigi. Bye-bye.